Hey there, Sensei Mish here with Artisan Martial Arts, coming to you with a brand new episode of This Old Dojo. So we started this project last night. We went to Home Depot, made some purchases, and then came back here, got everything inside, and started just cutting. And I completely forgot to start filming. And I really wanted to get this part from the beginning, because this is kind of the crown jewel of this project, because you can paint and patch and sand and all that really cool stuff, but there's a pony wall. I had to get a permit to build the pony wall, and I'm going to do a permit video here soon. But let me show you what we got so far. So what we did, now the pony wall is going to come off of here. I don't know if you can see it on the film, but right about there, it kind of edges down. See? Voila. Anyway, so this is going to go up, not where the chalk lines are, maybe just a little bit over. It's going to go up against that wall, and this will go all the way down and to about there. So there's going to be about 4 feet between this wall and the end of the pony wall. And then, of course, we have mat space and wood flooring. So this is going to be a pony wall is basically a half wall. This is going to be just short of 3 feet. The idea is that this is going to go on here, and then it's going to be angled. Now, this is a 30-degree cut. My design originally called for a 45-degree cut, but that's really steep. It ended up being really, really steep. This is a little bit more feasible, and it still serves the purpose of being able to sit, lean against here, and also not being able to put coffee or tea or any drinks on top of there that will either fall on the floor or on the mat by somebody accidentally hitting them. So as we look back at this, what we've done is we've cut all the pieces for this, and we're going to start attaching. But I have a special design for this, and I want to show you this is our internal end piece. And so what we're going to do is we're going to, the top piece isn't just going to go on top. It's actually going to fit inside like a puzzle piece. So Thomas is working on here. So this is our practice piece, because it's always got to practice. So we're going to cut out this piece here, and we're going to be using table saw for that. And then we're going to cut out here, and this, we cut those out, we cut that out, and it should fit like a puzzle lock. No different than Grandmaster Bram Frank's modular knife or his LLC locking knife lock. So everything fits together like a puzzle. So when we talk about artisan is basically craftsman. It's not just somebody who's an artist, but somebody who really is masterful in what they do. And so even though nobody is going to see this puzzle piece, it's going to be covered by sheetrock and other pieces of wood, I'll know it's here, and you guys will know it's here because you will have watched the video. But it not only makes it a little bit more stable, it's artwork underneath covering. And if anybody knows anything about Steve Jobs and Apple and some of the history, he actually wanted to, he was very anal about having all the chips look a certain way, because he wanted, if anybody ever opened a Mac or opened an Apple II or opened an Apple machine, he wanted people to see in there and see organization. He wanted to see people to see beauty, that somebody actually cared about the construction of the computer. Just like this, I care about the construction of this wall because it's going to help support people who lean against it, somebody who rolls into it by accident on the mat. it's got to stay stable. And so, so it's all of these little pieces, these that all kind of fits together, that goes along with our name, Artisan. So I'm going to set up the camera, kind of have it playing in the background, and you'll kind of see us working. And then I'll start, as we start piecing things together, you'll actually see how literally everything pieces together. All right, so our goal is to create that notch. So what you've been watching is a lot of trial and error. So now we've got this, the height that we need, okay? And in here, so we had been using a practice piece and kind of going back and forth, so you kind of saw us do that. So then I wanted to grab just a blank, and it should be 1 7/8 inches, and it's like perfect. Check this out. Boom, every single time. So now that we have this, we're gonna run a bigger one and see if we don't screw that up. Yay! Check that out. That's exactly where we want it. So now we're just gonna cut the rest of them, because we're gonna cut here, we're gonna move over. Well, we'll move over just a little bit to cut here, and then we'll cut over here, and then we can get a jigsaw in there and just cut straight across. That's the plan. Okay, so as you can see, it cut off. Anything on the inside we could really care less about, but we can at least get, even if we can just knock that little piece out there, that this is the jigsaw. So that'll fit right in there. It's gonna be a nice snug fit, but once we get in there, we'll just draw that line between there and we'll just cut that off. So I think that's safe. Okay, so just so we have enough room, because if I check, yeah, there is enough room for a blade to get in there, but we're gonna make a third pass just so we know that there's more than enough room so we're not breaking any blades. Awesome, look at that. More than enough room to get that blade in there. And yes, there's a little wedge in there just like we had, but there's this, that'll work. Okay, cool, cool, cool. All right, so boys and girls at home, even though we're wearing glasses, we should probably be wearing eyes, just kind of keep the dust out of our faces. We should probably be wearing masks, just so we're not breathing in the dust, but it's just wood, it's natural, it's fine. As Thomas chokes on his soda. And we should probably be wearing ears because, you know, it is a loud noise, but you know what? I already have a ringing in my ears. I'm gonna be deaf someday anyway. So, but if you're not deaf, wear your ears. Well, that didn't work.
You want to know why?
Why? Because I was cutting into a knot?
Yep.
So I was cutting into a knot. Blade broke, you just saw that. Made that hole big enough so the blade would go in there, but we made it big enough, even though that's a bigger blade, we don't have to recut all these because this fits this too. So there you go. You have the honors in that, sir, and we'll see who's calling me.
it fits first.
Now, we've cut this piece and we've cut this piece. In theory, it should fit in just like that. And now, mind you, we do have a little bit of a gap that we're gonna have to chisel out. But just imagine this fitting in, and it doesn't have to, if it's snug, that's great, but check that out. All the pieces are gonna fit in just like a puzzle piece. And then we'll put a couple screws in, maybe even put a screw in, but there is your rest. Isn't that just ingenious? Yes, I'm taking credit for that if you didn't know. Okay, cool. We have successfully tested, and of course, we've cut all these out, so we'll get those cut on here, and we did get chisels, so we can chisel that out, and it'll be a little bit more flush. But even if it's a little bit loose, I mean, it solves the problem. I mean, not solves the problem because there was no problem, but we have set out what I wanted to do. Okay. Okay. So you saw me cut this long piece. This is actually 14 inches. Let's see, 14 feet, roughly 14 feet 4 inches, something like that. And it ends up making our wall. I'm gonna mark out 16 inches on center. So if you look at some tape measures, like on this one in particular, 16 is red, 32 is red, 48 is red, so on and so forth. That's because one of the standards in wall building is 16 inches on center. Now, the reason they do 16 inches on center is because say you get to the 48 inch, which is 4 feet, you put it center, one piece of sheetrock, if you're going up, you can put one piece here and it's gonna blend here, and then you can take the two edges and actually drill it in, or nail it in on the same side. So it's, or even when you get to the 8 feet, because of course, 4 multiple of the 8, it kind of, everything matches up. Now you could also do 24 inches on center, but my plans that were approved by the city are drawn at 16 inches on center. So yes, I spent a little bit of money. Maybe it's overdoing it because it's only barely 3 feet high, but I want this sucker to be strong and sturdy. So I'm gonna overdo it a little bit. Now, because this isn't exactly like every single piece is gonna be 16 inches on center, my debate in my head is, do I go 16 inches from the wall out, or do I go 16 inches from the end of the wall, from the end of this wall back to this wall where it's going to be connected to? So it's just making that decision and how I want to go, because one side is going to have sheetrock and one side is going to have whatever it's called, plywood. And of course, as you'll see what I'm doing here, this will match up with what the beams that we just cut, and then it will actually match, because this is the top part to the bottom part. So it's all gonna be. So anyway, that's kind of my little issue there, but it'll all be worked out once I figure it out in my head. All right, so what you see me doing now, I've marked everything 16 inches on center. That's actually going to go against the wall. That's going to be the end of the wall back there. But I've cut this little piece. This is kind of going to be my guide, because after and I'm using the center of this, that's going to be the center of, I've got 16 inches on center. That line somewhat matches up with that line. I draw, I make a guide. And then we'll go back and we'll measure in, so then we'll have these lines here, so then we'll know how far to cut in, and then what we need to chisel out so we can make that puzzle piece fit together. Okay, so we have, we've marked everything is 16" on center. That's going to be the wall, and I actually marked it wall, so I knew. This is a different, this cut in is a different length than this, and so I've actually marked this side the mat and this side lobby, because it's actually going to end up being angled, and so the mat is going to be the high side. And so I've marked, now it's just cutting in and then chiseling out. Okay, so we've got everything cut. I've sized. I actually, some of them are perfectly sized. Some of them are a little bit loose. It is what it is. I mean, I might be kind of anal when it comes to certain things, but I am not perfect, even though sometimes I can be a perfectionist. So, but it's better than government work, and that's what counts. So I've numbered them so we know exactly which one fits the right way in which slot. So now we are going to lay them on the ground out, and we're just going to start screwing these puppies in. Now this one was a little bit short, so I cut it shallow because this needs to be the same length. And it was a little bit short, but all of this is flush. It's all flush, all flush. And it fits together like a puzzle piece. So just usually if you put screws in there, this would be super wobbly. And it is wobbly, yes, but it would be even more wobbly. So once we get that piece on, this will become a lot stronger. So I am super, super happy. So we're gonna put this back on the tripod there, and we'll get the bottom piece on. There you go. This is so plywood, sheetrock, and then on top we'll go probably maybe 2 layers of 1x2. And it'll be a nice solid thing because the whole thing is if people sit, then they can rest.
But they can't put their drinks on.
But they can't put their drinks on there.
I love it.
So,
You proud of yourself?
oh, yeah, we did an awesome job. Like, check here, look at this.
No, I can see it. I don't need to get on the
Like, it fits like a puzzle piece. I mean, they're not perfect. There's lots of gaps, but like,
You think Mike is gonna be okay with it, or is he gonna give you shit?
oh, Mike's gonna give me shit regardless. Isn't this amazing? And this is just the frame. So we'll say this is part 1. So when Mike comes in and he actually bolts it to the floor, because he's the official contractor, then I'll film that, and that'll be like a part 2. And then I really don't know where we go from there. I don't know if we have to wait for inspectors to come in and inspect a frame, and then we can fill it in. Mike will know those answers, but there you go. So, yeah, if you haven't liked, subscribed, shared, commented, all those really cool things, because we didn't really do things like by the book in here, but it worked, and no one got hurt. Thomas didn't get hurt, and neither did I. So, we'll see you on the next video.